Day 9 of Eagles training camp, and so excited for it, guys. I feel like as of right now, we're getting closer and closer. We have a preseason game on Saturday, which I can't wait for, and definitely a lot to look forward to here. A lot happened on day 9 of training camp, and something that I'm probably going to rant on that I need to chill out. I need to relax, because as soon as I read this today, I was going to flip my shit today, and we really need to get into all this. So let's get straight into day 9.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? I hope everyone's enjoying their work week this week. And yeah, the Eagles had day 9 of training camp at the NovaCare. Oh no, at the Lincoln Financial Field. Actually, that's obviously it wasn't open. It was an open practice, not to the public, but obviously the media was there. A lot to really go over here when it comes to the day. First, we go over the injuries for the day, and that is, yeah, the Deon Cain is still out. What, 4th, 5th day with this ankle injury? Jesus, I mean, he's been out. He hasn't even got a chance to do much of anything. Patrick Johnson, that got hurt a few days ago. He has the ankle injury right now. We know that Devin Allen is still limited, but still working. With special teams with the calf injury, and Nakobe Dean is finally on the limited list right now. So at least Nakobe Dean is getting back to healthy, which is good. I really don't expect him. I don't know if he's going to play Saturday. I'm trying to still figure it out if there's enough days or they're not going to rush him for a preseason game to get him some snaps, which would probably be very good for him, but we'll see. It looks like Haason Reddick is off this list, so he's probably a full go as of right now. So very excited for that. Now, the first thing I definitely want to talk about here is the freaking problem that we have been trying to get off our backs after signing a 2-year deal last year. Okay, Derek Barnett is still a problem, and I understand, like, there are camps where there's players that fight, but with the Philadelphia Eagles in training camp, I never see, really since Nick has been here, even when Doug was here, I didn't really ever see players really battle each other and fight each other at practice, and it's just really annoying. So it says the first scuffle of camp is between Derek Barnett and Landon Dickerson, initiated by Barnett. Barnett shoved Dickerson in the back at the end of an A.J. Brown screen that had to be held back by teammates to keep from escalating. Jordan Mailata said that everything's okay, but is it really okay? I don't know. Is Nick Sirianni fed up with this whole situation with Derek Barnett? Because I swear to God, I don't care how well he does. If he gets a double-digit sacks, I don't care what he gets. But I just can't wait till this guy is gone after this year. And I understand they're keeping him because they need depth at defensive end. They have a lot of depth on the defensive line right now. Derek Barnett was actually a starter on the defensive line, as well as Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Haason Reddick, and Derek Barnett were the 2 starting defensive ends today, which I think Barnett starting today really doesn't mean much. You know that they've been using Josh Sweat, they've been using Nolan Smith, they've been using a lot of these guys for off-ball coverage, and maybe they're doing it with Barnett as well at practice, but this has got to stop, okay? I understand there's going to be fans out there who are going to say, oh, well, it's just competition, it's just a moment. And yeah, people get pissed off in the moment, but late hits, that's a problem. Landon Dickerson knocks him over, then he gets up, then he walks away, then he gets hit in the back by Barnett, and that shit is it's just tiring. This is the reason why, okay, Barnett has only had 1 good season. His rookie year was his best season of his career. Maybe the next year he did okay, and then obviously started to get hurt a lot, but I can't deal with this anymore. This guy just needs to go away. I know a lot of fans are going to want this guy to get traded. I mean, I'm not saying ask for a trade right now or get rid of him, but this guy has got to stop, because you saw it on Nick's face when he kept getting penalty after penalty after penalty in 2021. It was just absolutely just annoying. He's a drive killer. I don't want him to kill drives for this defense where it's 3rd and long. He gets a penalty and they have a first down. Stupid crap that he does. Okay. The one where he's pushing Tom Brady 15 yards away from the play. The next one where he's trying to punch the ball out when the running back's already down and he's getting a flag for it. Just stupid shit. He thinks about himself more than the team half the time. And I don't know. I mean, I was hoping to see a newer type of Derek Barnett going into this year, but he is back to his old ways on being just this on-field scumbag all the time. If you want to be physical and mean and knock somebody over during a game or something like that, not after the whistle, but during a play you want to be physical, that's perfect. perfectly fine, and talk crap during a game, that's perfectly fine. But when it's in practice and where you could hurt somebody, you never know what you could do to somebody, even if you just pushed them, whatever. You know what I mean? And this just has to stop. It's just, I don't like the looks of this. Like, the Eagles never have fights like this. I think it's competitive, healthy competition, but when it comes to like some late hit bullshit nonsense, I just can't stand it. It just really annoys me 100%. And he started today on the defensive line. Like I said, not a big deal, not too much in question. But yeah, that was pretty much what's been going on. Now, Jalen Carter, on the other hand, has been getting a lot of attention at Eagles camp, especially today. I'm hearing some news that here was a quote from Fletcher Cox saying that you don't see what Jalen Carter is doing from any other rookies. Okay, so Jalen Carter's freakish talent has reportedly already caused Eagles guards to game plan now to stop him in camp practices, which he is becoming a major problem. And he started on the defensive line today next to Jordan Davis. I said this. I feel like he is going to be an immediate impact. I feel like there's already, I think offensive linemen have really been holding on to dear life when you go up against Jalen Carter, except for maybe Kelsey, except for, I know he went up against, maybe Lane Johnson. He's been up against Jordan Mailata a good amount of times, just obviously for competition and just doing some different things. But from what we've seen so far, what we've heard so far during this training camp, like, it is hard to contain Jalen Carter. I think when it comes down to it, it's going to be really tough for teams to game plan against this defensive line, especially if you hit on both of these draft picks between Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. Man, he has just been demolishing, knocking over guards, like just unmatched. And especially if you give Jordan Davis a one-on-one, it's going to be significantly easy for him too. So offensive lines are going to really have to pick their poison on who they're going to have to really double team here. So the Jalen Carter hype is real, and it's been real. I know it's been like that, and I'm excited to see what happens down the road, once we get close to the season and we actually see this in a real game. So a lot of great things from Jalen Carter coming from camp. It's awesome. Now, Myles Jack, which is so crazy right now. Okay, listen to this, okay? For the second straight day, newcomer Myles Jack has got first-team reps at linebacker. Jack and Nicholas Morrow worked together on the first team, but when there was one linebacker on the field with the starters, it was Christian Ellis. Because the Eagles are low on numbers at linebacker, Jack also took some third-team reps. So, second day straight, taking first-team reps. Zach Cunningham taking second-team reps, second day of being here. That's really showing you, maybe is Christian Ellis getting faded out of this depth chart. It's honestly really scary sometimes, because when you're not bringing in competition and guys are looking way too good every single day, because really Christian Ellis has been looking good since OTAs and in camp, turning heads, the attention he's getting, what he's doing, flying all over the field, all these great things. But when you bring in two veteran guys like Myles Jack and Zach Cunningham, and they've been on first team, second team, literally 2 days straight, and Christian Ellis can't even touch them, can't even touch the dust on their boots right now, on their cleats right now, it's a big problem. And not saying it's a problem, it's positive for us, because I don't want to put someone on the field that just had a lot of training camp hype. And I'm not saying that Christian Ellis is going to be bad or anything like that, or if this is even true if Christian Ellis is not playing well, but don't be surprised if competition made Christian Ellis look a little smaller on the step chart now and made him move back a little bit further. So I thought that was really interesting. Myles Jack, this is a perfect spot for him to really revive his career. This is a perfect spot for him to, be on a good team, which he definitely discussed here. He said, he's glad Zach Cunningham is coming in with him. As much talent as we can have, that's the best linebacker room. Nobody wants to be on a bad team, and I've been on bad teams. And you know what? He can't really, he's not lying. You know what I mean? At least for half of the way with the Jags, they were I thought their defense was pretty good out to the last couple of years before they blew everything up. But, we had the 1 year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He pretty much sat there and said at the press conference, I was playing Call of Duty, and then all of a sudden I got a phone call and then came to Philadelphia and got signed. You know what I mean? He was actually, after the 1 year deal from Pittsburgh, he was actually thinking of going to trade school and learning how to be a plumber and electrician. Like, he figures, once you start getting those 1 year deals, your career is going down the toilet. And that's not just, there's a lot of players that get 1 year deals and are very, there are journeyman players that help out teams with their skill sets. You know what I mean? Like Yannick Ngakoue is a player that's had 1 year deal, 1 year deal, 1 year deal sometimes. You know, even at the, you know, you're only, you know, Miles Jack is only 27 years old, and to get 1 year deals now, he should be in the prime of his career right now. But he is showing out, he is showing up, and like I said, Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham are already producing on both of the first and second team defenses. Miles Jack is even put to third team defense right now. He's doing double time at linebacker with 2 different, you know, people he's playing next to. And Nicholas Morrow is lined up next to him with the first team. So this one got really interesting. And I think Nicholas Morrow is only lined up next to Miles Jack because Nakobe Dean is so limited right now. So I think theoretically, I'm just so excited Miles Jack is just in it. I mean, to be honest with you, even this past offseason, Budda Baker was a big inspiration, and that they're really good friends and helped him train with him. You know, Budda Baker got, you know, Miles Jack to go out and train somewhere and, you know, get things going, because you never know when your number is going to be called. And I think that's the most important thing out of this whole linebacker situation. So this is getting me a little excited now. Now I feel like there's just so much. Bringing in Zach Cunningham and Miles Jack really just pushed the competition to its limits, and Miles Jack might look really good with the Philadelphia Eagles. You never know what we're going to have during this year when you get in the offseason, but telling you, this might be something special here. Now, for the offense today, I'm not really going to go through the passing and stuff like that. It was an on and off day for the offense, so the defense had some, you know, I thought Kelee Ringo had some good coverage on A.J. Brown today. You know, Mariota had a better day today. He's had some, the past couple practices have had some really good days with Marcus Mariota, definitely on his accuracy. Kelee Ringo, like I said, has been playing very close, tight coverage. You talk about Quez Watkins and Olamide Zaccheaus, 2 guys that took over. Devontae Smith was not practicing today because he was at Henry Ruggs' court date. At court most likely for him, so he had to take the day off for that. Him and Ruggs are very good friends, so this is something that you could see if something happens, you know, knock on wood, to Devontae Smith, where you could move Quez Watkins. They move Quez Watkins as the number 2 receiver, and then they have Zaccheaus as in the slot right now. So like I said, I think Quez will play better on the outside if he gets the opportunity, because I just think he's better and he's played that position better, but we'll see what 2023 brings Quez Watkins on, you know, this year on a contract year, and see what's going to happen. And Zaccheaus, I know obviously Quez Watkins and Olamide Zaccheaus are going to make this roster. Zaccheaus brings a different type of burner to this offense, and I feel like they can use Quez and Zaccheaus in this offense. Use Zaccheaus on a lot of different things, whether it's screen passes. He's got that. He could run as fast or faster than Quez. Got that burner mentality. Could burn guys and get separation. Tracking the footballs really well. Had his best year last year with the Falcons in that crappy offense with over 500 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think Zaccheaus is definitely going to be used in this offense. Like I said, I'm not looking to see if there's a real competition here, even though I think there is a lot more going on at wide receiver, because I think Joseph, Joseph Ngata is playing fantastic out of Clemson, you know, and they paid, you know, him a lot of money. I think he's one of the biggest standout undrafted free agent receivers that might actually get a roster spot here. So depending on how many receivers are keeping, 5 or 6, going down the road, having these 2 here are definitely making the team. And I think Quez is definitely ahead of Zaccheaus regardless. So I'm not really worried about that too much going into, coming out of training camp and going into the season. A lot of the offensive linemen for the Philadelphia Eagles, the older vets, took a break today. Kelce, probably Lane. So in this argument, if Kelce is gone or something happens here, they already had Cam Jurgens at center on the 9th day of training camp, and they had Tyler Steen at right guard. Okay, right tackle, since Lane didn't practice, they had Jack Driscoll, which I'm not really a big fan of, because I think Driscoll is more of a right guard than a right tackle, but, you know, Lane's got to stay healthy. And I think Tyler Steen could move over to right tackle if he really had to as well. He could play both tackle spots and has the physicality to play right guard. You know, anything happens to Kelce or anything like that, Cam Jurgens is already ready, set in stone, just ready to play center. And Tyler Steen, man, I can't wait to see what this kid turns out to be. He's not even caught up with everything yet, and playing at his highest ceiling right now, and what they could turn him into could be amazing. Obviously, in Jeff Stoutland's offensive line, he did say in the last press conference, last practice, it might have been the open practice, I think, where he talked about, when you play in my offensive line room, if you're not a starting offensive lineman, you got to know multiple positions coming in to the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's the only players they take in. They either draft guys that can take guys that either had played two positions or have the ceiling to play both positions on the offensive line. And I think this offensive line is one of the most versatile groups we have had in a long time, and very excited about it. Now, obviously the safety position has been kind of nuts right now with a lot of bodies competing for the starting roles. And Reed Blankenship has been probably the top safety we have had. I think we found something, guys, because Reed has not moved from the first team between OTAs and between all of training camp. Reed Blankenship, as much as I'm not a big fan of his coverage, I think when it comes to being a contact safety, and his tackling is definitely A+, I think he brings a nice fire to your back end a little bit, and, can make some plays too. Was thrown into the fire middle of the season when a couple guys, Vontae Max was hurt, Gardner Johnson was hurt. So Reed Blankenship came right in, made plays, and was doing really well last year for the small sample size he did get. But coming from camp, Reed Blankenship is the #1 guy right now at safety. Has not been moved one time. Now, the other safety was K'Von Wallace, which is absolutely insane. 4th year of K'Von Wallace's contract. I think it is a contract year for K'Von Wallace this year, and he's playing better than Edmonds. He's playing better than Justin Evans. He's playing better than a lot of safeties in this room right now. We're gonna get a good player in K'Von Wallace the last year of his contract. Did Sean Desai really get the best out of his players in training camp so far? I mean, it seems like he's getting the best out of certain players that we wouldn't really expect to really, going to training camp or going into OTAs in general. I didn't think K'Von Wallace. I thought that K'Von Wallace was either going to be a special teamer or he was going to be gone. Or on practice squad, whatever the case may be, and on how they want to deal with him. But to get the most out of your players like this, and sometimes it's laughable to think that K'Von Wallace, is a pure starter in this league, but maybe he has a fantastic season, and maybe he was just coached the wrong way. Maybe Gannon didn't do a good job with him the past couple years. I don't know. There's a lot to really go into, but I think with Sean Desai, he's really taking every player specifically, independently, and giving them a fair shot and seeing what they can do, knowing their strengths and weaknesses as players, which is going to help him as a coach to figure out what is the best way to put this player in a game where he's not going to fail. And I feel like you're finding that with K'Von Wallace. I can't even believe I'm saying this. There's still a lot of time left. We still have joint practices. We have a preseason game. We're going to see a lot here in the coming days. But the safety room is definitely an exciting one, which I was more worried about linebacker than safety before we signed Miles Jack and before we signed Zach Cunningham. So a lot going on here at safety. But Reed Blankenship, K'Von Wallace, let the best man win, man. Let both of them start. I don't know. We'll see when the time comes later on. Now, I know John McMullen said some things about the running back room a couple days ago, or at least yesterday, that, from what he sees at training camp so far from the Philadelphia Eagles from a running back standpoint, that Kenneth Gainwell is the #1 running back in Philadelphia, which to me, I don't know about that. Okay. I think you have a room of running backs that are really good. I think this blows 2017's running back core out of the water if 100% healthy. And Kenneth Gainwell being the 3rd best running back on this team is not bad at all. This whole group is fantastic. Kenneth Gainwell is just getting better every year as a 5th-round pick, and he's like doing this much with, I know he's got a good offensive line in front of him. The guy can catch. The guy can make guys miss. The guy doesn't have a special running skill set, but I think what takes Kenneth Gainwell further than what he is his vision. I think he has very, very good vision. I think he's good in open space. 9 out of 10 times he makes guys miss. But as the best running back in Philadelphia on the depth chart right now, I don't think so. It's got to be DeAndre Swift. I don't know how. Are people just trying to get clicks, or are people just trying to get attention by saying another player that nobody expects? I don't know. But DeAndre Swift is obviously your pass catcher. DeAndre Swift is everything in your offense. You can line him up wherever you want. They've been lining up as a wide receiver. You could put him. You could do whatever you could do whatever you want with DeAndre Swift, and has a better skill set and is bigger and is more explosive. Kenneth Gainwell, I'm not saying is a bad player. He's just the best back. He's one of the best backs of the bunch, but is he the best? No, but that's not saying he's bad, because our running back core is really good. If I'm going to be fair to Kenneth Gainwell, I'll put him right behind DeAndre Swift until I see what Rashad Penny can do coming off, only playing 5 games last year. And I'm saying to you right now, I said when Miles Sanders left and signed his contract, I said, when you have DeAndre Swift, when you have Rashad Penny at 100% health, it is going to be a nightmare for defenses, because that read option, the play. I mean, the dump off, the check downs. I mean, it's going to be insane, like, to not even know how you're going to be able to defend this off. I mean, to really attack this offense. I don't know how you're going to do it. I think Gainwell's going to have a lot of playing time as well, but I think with two guys in front of him right now at that healthy, you're going to forget about Miles Sanders after you see this running back core this year. You're going to forget about a lot of things because you actually have better talent at running back this year. Simple as that. And I don't put too much on Miles Sanders. He did a great job for us, but his rookie year was fantastic. His last year was great. And the middle of his 2 years were fumbles, dropping the football, and injuries. And that's just the truth to it all. Okay, so the running back core as Kenneth Gainwell being number one, no, definitely not. Still a fantastic group. Even Kenneth Gainwell being the third best running back, he is fantastic. I just think there's two guys that are just better at 100% health. And Rashad Penny has already lost a lot of weight. He's already down to almost 225 pounds. He was like 235 to 237. He feels lighter on his feet. The Eagles' health department is taking care of him so well. I mean, Rashad Penny's going to look like the prime Rashad Penny that we've seen in the past. And trust me, he's done damage on us as well. So that's all I really got to say about the whole entire training camp. Day 9 for the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of different things going on. We went mostly defense because I feel like it's really important today. And some offensive switches because of certain players not being in some of the offensive linemen and Devontae Smith not practicing or not being at practice. But watch out for Jalen Carter. Watch out for this safety competition. Watch out for Miles Jack coming in with a vengeance for that starting role. And the only way that Nicholas Morrow is starting is only because Nakobe Dean is hurt right now or limited, so he couldn't really do full team things today. And Carter, I think, will be the starting defensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles next to Jordan Davis this year. He's just a menace. It's ridiculous. So getting some switches at offensive line, cross training, getting some guys moved around in case certain guys get hurt, which is great. So defensively, I think the Eagles I think there's a lot of good things to take away from camp so far. Mekhi Gardner has been a versatile player for the Eagles defensively at cornerback. Keely Ringo has had tight coverage, really good coverage. Bradbury is starting to get more playing time a little bit coming off that injury. Josh Jobe is playing great at cornerback as a backup to Bradbury. So I think cornerback has been really good in this camp so far. I mean, there's just been a lot of turnaround. I'm more focusing on the defense more than the offense when it comes to training camp. I really don't have, I'll definitely go over it every single day, but today I just want to focus more on defense and focus more on that piece of garbage, Derek Barnett, that really pissed me off today. So that's all I really got to say about it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day of Eagles, of the rest of the week. Enjoy and watch some of the other stuff on, week 9, day 9 of Eagles training. I can't talk today. Eagles training camp was great. And I don't know if they're practicing tomorrow or not. I guess we'll find out. And a lot here. So you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes it up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.